Welcome, esteemed guests, to the Darkstone Dossiers with your host, Anthony Darkstone.
Buonasera a tutti, bonsoir, buenas noches, bonne nuit, and a very good, good Abend, and a very good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on where you are watching. Welcome to the Darkstone Dossiers, ladies and gentlemen. It really does give me great pleasure to introduce our guest on the Darkstone Dossiers today. She is, as you've all seen on the posts, none other than Eva May Nicot.
Hello.
Hello, nice to see you.
And you all as well. Hello. I wasn't sure then when my cue was. I was hovering with my hat, as you do, and waiting. And then suddenly you said it and I leapt in.
Well, I mean, you were absolutely hovering, but I noticed your spare vehicle
It's
in the
behind
background.
me.
Yeah, the spare
There's
one.
there's another one there.
Oh, there's two. You see, always come prepared.
Yes. Yes.
Now, let me say a few words because I want her to explain things rather than me. Eva May Nicot, some of you may recognize her last name, and that was the name of her very dear husband, Roger, who sadly is no longer with us. Blessings for his memory, to pay my respects to him. Many of you will know him and know his work internationally. Eva is, oh goodness, I could be here for next Christmas talking about her, but we'll go through topics as they were. Firstly, I want to say a big appreciative thank you for her for making the time to come on. It's kind of nice that this date fell into place because we're not that far away from Samhain, aka All Hallows Eve or Halloween. I want to start with talking to Eva about the British Seance Society. Is seance important to us as magicians? Well, it could be, because, well, before Houdini, but he kind of elevated it, and we'll talk about that later on. The other people involved in it, magician-wise, are people like Dorothy Dietrich, who was a guest a couple of years ago on the Darkstone Dossiers. She has the Houdini Museum, etc. So the two topics are, in fact, allied. Is Eva a magician? Well, yes, of course she is. She's actually a member of the Inner Magic Circle with a gold star at the Magic Circle. She has recently, a few months ago, performed over at the Paul Theatre, POE, Edgar Allan, in Baltimore. Well, as we unfold, is that the right word? Yes. She will kind of fill in all the other bits rather than me wittering on about it. So, Eva, welcome.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Not at all. Great pleasure. Thank you for accepting. Let me begin by asking you to talk a little bit about the Seance Society, of which you are now the president.
Yes, the Seance Society of Great Britain.
I got the name wrong. I'm sorry.
It's close, yes. So that actually that began because my husband Roger, he was very, I mean, he was a magician as well. For people that don't know, we met at the 4F Magic Convention many years ago. So and it all unfolded from there. But he had always had this fascination with seance as well. So we did sort of collide on that, and we were putting together a show called Boo. He sadly was quite ill while we were doing it, but I sort of forced him. He'd been wanting to do it for so many years. I was just very keen for him to definitely go ahead with the show despite his illness. And so we were sitting there one evening and he said, well, it would be good if somebody sponsored it, if we had, some sort of endorsement or something. And I said, well, we need to be the Seance Society then. We need the Seance Society. And he said, well, how about the Seance Society of of Great Britain. I was like, oh yeah, fantastic. And that's how it was born. And it it was really his baby more, only because I'm busy doing other stuff. We both do it. And we created this Seance Society of Great Britain. And in fact, if you want just a secret, do you want secrets
Yes, why
that
not?
other people don't know about?
Why not? That's why we're here.
Yeah. The, because I love domain names. I'm like, I've got, when I do die, there's going to be a whole stack of them the kids can sell. So I did actually get the International Seance Society as well, and a couple of others maybe, because I think it should, yeah, you like that, Tommy. So I have got the American one as well before anybody tries, because I'm like that. Um, because I think it is a bigger picture than just Great Britain. Great Britain's great because it's quirky and it sounds old from the beginning, doesn't it, somehow?
Hmm.
When people join, so people, oh, I've got so many plans. I'm like tangent woman, by the way. So do tell me to shut up if you need to. I won't be insulted. So when people join, they get a certificate and they get a pin that glows in the dark with ghosties on it. Oh, yes. And quarterly newsletters, which of course now I'm taking over and doing. There was a little bit of a lull, obviously, because it has been what people say a bit of a year. But, you know, anyway, that's another topic. So I'm continuing with that and fully intend to expand on it, and things like maybe a retreat.
Or convention, yes.
Well, it's no, it's not a convention. It's
Ah,
going to be a retreat,
mm,
and we're going to be exploring ancient haunted sites around the area that I live in. So that's on the cards for the Seance Society of Great Britain.
forgive me interrupting, but you've kind of mentioned it, and I think everybody here might like to know, and indeed, when they're watching the recording later, that they get in touch with you via Facebook
Mhm.
as to how to be able to join it. And then you
Mm.
can let them have the actual website they can go to and fill
It's
in whatever they need to. Is that right?
I can do. It's the Seance Society of Great Britain.
Oh, okay. That's
So
it.
you just Google that, and there's a joining thing on there. A joining
Okay.
thing, a
Yeah.
form. Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, sorry. Please continue.
Oh, well, that's it really. But I mean, I'm open to suggestions. So, like you say, a convention, yeah, why not? I love doing stuff, so I'm open to suggestions.
Well, I think what we'll do on the AMI pages as well, put up that link in due course in the
Mm,
next sort of few days, so
mm,
people who are not here might join it. Now, there are folks who kind of go, ha ha, goose, ghosts, ghoulies, yeah, rubbish.
mm,
Fair enough. They're entitled to that.
mm,
And then there are other folks who kind of go, I don't know. I've had this experience and I've had that experience. Must be something to it. And then
mm,
there are the really dedicated people, shall we say, who've had more than one experience and understand perhaps more than the average person does about these things. And I believe it's a good thing for someone like yourself to have, for want of a better word, an organization where like-minded folk can come together,
mm,
folk who are kind of on the fence, and perhaps even skeptics who
mm,
may be persuaded. My take on it is, and I'm sure many of you know this story, that Arthur Conan Doyle, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who was the creator of the fictional Sherlock Holmes, was influenced greatly by his wife and then had involvement. I'm not going to tell the whole story. Had this is about Ava, got involved with spiritualist societies and so on. And he and Houdini at one time were friends, but they fell out over a couple of things. But interestingly, as we all know, Houdini left a key phrase to his wife, Wilhelmina, um, to so that if and some money for whoever got in touch with him, he would verify it by saying this phrase, and she would say, yes, that's him. Other than that, there's a lot more. Now, John Cox and tons of other people, including Dorothy Dietrich, who I mentioned earlier, was a guest on the show, um, uh, have all kinds of things. During the actual show with Dorothy, we were talking about this, and believe it or not, she said something, and at that moment, the picture that was on the wall just fell. It just fell.
See if we can arrange that.
Do I have an explanation for it? No. It shocked the heck out of Dorothy as well. So, and they have, she and Dick Brooks, her partner, have sort of seances as well. So the reason I'm saying some of that is because it's not that far removed from our art of magical performances. And where did we all originate anyway? From shamans, from medicine people, going back, as we all know, centuries and centuries. Yes, we've turned it into a performance art, but there is that element in the background. So is there something you like to add on the society? Do you have that? And do you go and attend or give talks at various places on seances and spirits and that sort of thing?
Oof, there's a question. So I don't give talks about seances and things. I do a bit of mediumship. And I'll tell you something that actually, a true story that happened last Saturday. I was on a Zoom call with a group, only a small group, sort of five or six of us, and we were doing sort of practice readings with each other, mediumship. And there's a lady in Australia. She doesn't know me. And she was doing a reading, and she said, I've got someone here. His name's Roger. She said, I'm getting the music razzle dazzle. That's key, razzle dazzle. And then she said, he's pulling a rabbit out of a hat. This happened last Saturday. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like that. Because even though I believe it, it's still a bit, whoa, you know, when you're not expecting it. And she said various other things. Now, the razzle dazzle is key because and I'm a real feet on the ground people. I mean, I can see Paul there. He's known me for many, many years. I know I'm a bit batshit crazy, but I am feet on the ground as well, aren't I? I'm very sensible. I can be, despite the hat. And even though I believe the bigger picture, even though I get all this stuff kicking off around me, I still go through the normal human process of, well, she might have looked it up on Facebook. Oh, what if she this? What if she that? The razzle dazzle was something that it was only in a conversation between Roger and myself. And he was putting together a whole act, which he never got to do, sadly, which was Roger the Dodge. It was a whole gambling thing. All the stuff's in the basement still. And there was one effect that he went on and on and on to me about that he wanted to make, which was an end of the pier thing called Razzle Dazzle. And he did a lot of research on it. Now, there is no way that there's nothing on Facebook, there's nothing anywhere, there's nowhere. Despite the fact she had his name, yes, you could find that, the rabbit in the hat, all that stuff you could find, but Razzle Dazzle, there is no way she could have known that. Explain that away.
Can't.
You can't. And
No.
that's just one incident. I could rattle them off to whenever. But so there is one thing I do want to say that I think is very, very interesting, or I would find very interesting, is I'd love to do a survey, an international survey of magicians, and how many of them, even though, sleight of hand, all that jazz, how many of them actually truly believe in the real thing? And I feel it would be more than they would ever admit to out loud if it was a written survey or an online survey. And I was at the Doomsday Convention in May, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with.
Yep.
Great convention. And people sidled up to me. They sidle up to me now because they know what I do. And it's unbelievable how many of them have actually had an experience that they want to share with me of the real thing. And there are more magician believers than you would ever imagine.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'll
Mm.
tell you what, you and I should have a chat over the coming weeks, months, and because you're an AMI certified member, we should do something, and we have all the things in place for doing this survey, and I think it would be a really wonderful thing to do. So consider Amy your helper. And I know we have dear friends like Tommy, Scott Grossberg, etc., and other people who would be willing to come on help us. I mean, the site and everything we've got for the survey, that's not a problem. But yeah, let's do that. I think it would be interesting. And please forgive me, I'm the host. I know I shouldn't be talking about things to do with me, but as you were speaking and particularly mentioned Razzle Dazzle, there were two instances that I cannot explain. Many of you actually know me well, and are very close to me. And at the risk of tooting my own horn, you will know that I'm a fairly, as you say, feet on the ground, down-to-earth, rational person. There are two incidents involving my late father that I cannot explain. He visited me literally minutes or seconds before he passed. I wasn't with him, obviously, as you've gathered. And then many years later, I was at a Native American ceremony in Colorado with this wonderful medicine man. And he said, "Oh, come over here when it's over. I want to talk to you." And then I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but he said something. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the word is channeling. Is it? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yes.
That is the word. Yeah. I channeled my dad. And I'm like, kind of a little bit skeptical. And, well, yeah, okay, this makes sense. Like you, it was kind of, well, he's only just met me and there's no way he's going to look it up. And none of the people there knew me either. So they couldn't have told him anything. Bang, out of the blue, he said, "Oh, by the way," he says, and then he used a particular word and carried on the sentence. And that particular word, which I'm not going to reveal, was a nickname that only my father called me. No one else knew it. Maybe my mom is also passed, maybe had heard it in conversation when he was conversing with me, but there was a nickname he referred to me as. And there was no way that he's going to know. So I have to conclude, as a relatively erudite person, that, there's something there rather similar to your razzle dazzle. Yeah.
I mean, that was just Saturday. There's been a stack of stuff.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the interesting things we did when we were talking earlier about the show and so on like that, I held up my hand and you had a look and you said some rather fascinating things to me about me, which was good. Which brings us to our next topic. Yes, obviously mediumship, and that involves, can I put it this way,
I don't know what you're going to say.
reading.
It'll be too late once you've said it. I don't know what you're
True
going to
enough.
say.
True enough. Yeah, true enough. Yeah, okay, touche. Yeah, reading tea leaves and
yes.
maybe looking, and the tarot. Obviously, we have to bring that in and
Well,
get you to talk about both topics, tea leaves and tarot.
well, I mean, I do a bit of tarot. It's not my passion. I do tarot mostly if I'm doing a corporate gig and it's fast and people expect you to do tarot. My real passions are palmistry. Show me your hands, people. And tea leaf reading and they're both very, very different, and they do very different things. And that's what that would be my thing of choice if I would. That's where I begin usually with people if I'm doing a reading for someone. I combine them. I do both, because the palmistry is your hands are like a visible soul. Anybody there reading mine now? And so the lines change. I might be telling you things you already know, but the lines change depending on the life decisions and choices that you make. And the only thing that doesn't change ever are your fingerprints. But that is unless you're part of an FBI spy program, of course. And so your fingerprints can't lie. There's nothing, you can't lie. You can't, it's like a visible soul. So when I do a palm reading, it's like a health check for your soul. And I always think it's a bit of an odd thing in that you know, we go to the doctors and the dentist and we get all our other body parts checked, but we don't get our souls checked, do we?
True.
And so, and you can tell health and everything from someone's hands. I don't tend to go into health because they can change. I wouldn't want to frighten someone. I had a terrible reading. Do you want to hear about a God Almighty reading I had?
Yes, please.
I was in New York with a friend, and in my mind, I wanted to go up one of those rickety staircases, you know, with the flashing neon light where one of the letters doesn't work, and get a reading. I suppose in a way it served me right, to be fair, now I think about it, because that was what I wanted to do. Stupid. Anyway, we sort of wandered the back streets of New York, and I saw this light saying palm reading, and I was like, right. And we go up these stairs, and it was in a woman's obviously apartment, and she had stuff like we all do, you know, with all her palmistry stuff. She didn't know what I did, so I just went in as a normal human. And she gave my friend, she took $10 and she gave my friend this wonderful reading. It was just lovely, you know, everything lovely. Then she took one look at me, and she didn't even look at well, she glanced at my hand, and that was it. And she looked at me and she said, "You've got a curse on you." I was like,
Oh,
"What?" And then she said, "And you should go home and divorce your husband straight away." I was like, "Whoa, that's a little harsh." I was like, and in between this reading, she kept going off behind a screen and doing telephone readings, and then coming back to me. So it was like, "You've got a curse on you." Oh, excuse me, I've got to answer the phone a minute. And well, not even excuse me, I don't think. Anyway, I said to her, I said, "Well, this curse," I said, what do I need? What can I do about this curse?" And she said, "Well, I do work internationally, but it's going to be very expensive." So how naughty was that? I bet if you went back there now, she's not there, because she's one of these that keep moving, you know? But can you imagine if it hadn't been me? I mean, she was quite
Yes.
obviously saw me as a tourist. She wanted to frighten me and hope I'd give her a lot of money, because I haven't got a curse on me. So it was like, can you imagine if that had been somebody vulnerable?
Yeah.
Isn't that awful?
Yes. Well,
Really
it's
rude.
terrible. And this, I think, was what Eric Weiss Harry Houdini really wanted to do. He wanted to make it credible, but alas, could not. Some of you may know this, but within the Society of American Magicians, to which I belong, and I think a couple of other folks here do as well, and I kind of, hefty title, President of the International Assembly, there's a wonderful man called Mark Carlin, who within it started the Paranormal Committee. And as the name implies, it covers everything. And fast forward very quickly, what the Paranormal Committee has done for legal reasons and everything else, they can't expose anyone. They, in fact, investigate such things. What's the object of it? As Eva has rightly pointed out, the object is to protect the vulnerable.
Yeah.
People in senior homes who are pining for their loved ones or whatever. have been relieved of vast sums of money. Obviously, yes, it's fraud, and that is the purpose of the committee, or one of the purposes of the committee. So they gather information. I wouldn't go so far as to call it evidence, but they gather information and then send it to the local police and or the FBI to investigate. They can't actually do that. So it's interesting that came from Eva that we have to be somewhat not skeptical, I think aware and prudent would probably be two good words as
Yeah.
to who we run across and what they may or may not say to us, and the vast numbers of people who are literally had money stolen from, because that's what it is. It's theft.
Oh, yeah. It's just awful, isn't
It's
it?
terrible. So really, I think, yeah, good. I'm glad you brought that up, because I've had times where I would love to speak to my mother and father again, and without going into great detail, I have, but let's not bother about that now. I think one or two of us, myself included, remarked about your splendid hat.
Is it too much? Have I gone too far?
No, not at all. I think it's lovely. And I think everybody's
I have
agreeing
to.
with me on that. Don't take it off even. Yeah.
No, I was
And
thinking about taking it off.
yeah, I know you said to me, I might take it off. And I'm like,
I
oh,
can't lean
Vicky.
back. It's so big. I have to stand a bit weird. I'm like, that's why I'm looking really keen, because I can't lean back at all.
um, now, you're kind of entitled to wear that, aren't you? Well, it's a stereotype hat. I
Mm.
know that.
Mm.
But tell us a little bit about, I mean, you've termed yourself, I haven't, you did. You said, yeah, well, you talk about your witch part. Let's use that
The
word.
witch
Yeah,
thing. Well,
yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
not. Okay, so well, there's a funny story which I'll share with you in a moment. But there's yeah, I'm obviously not your normal witch. I'm no running around fires naked, no in the forest, too many twigs, too many insects. Nah. But uh, I'm the good witch. I'm basically a wise woman. I'm the
Hmm.
wise woman of Wiltshire. Wiltshire's the area that I live in. I'm from the land of stone circles and crop circles and all things woo. And but it used to be that every village had a wise woman, and what they would do, and wise men, and what they would do, people went to them with all their troubles, with all their problems. They went to them. They used to oversee, midwifery, and when people, passed beyond the veil, they would guide people to the next chapter of their lives.
Hmm.
And they were everywhere in every village. People would go and see the wise woman or the wise man. It was usually the woman, and they'd deal with herbs, and they'd give out medication, herbal medication and tinctures and things and potions, yay. And they got branded as witches basically, and there was the issue.
Hmm.
They certainly, well, they may have worn hats like this, but this is a stereotype, but it is rather fine, isn't it? And
It is.
it is from Salem, actually. It's a company in Salem.
Well,
But
Salem, Massachusetts, the Salem.
it
Oh,
is, yeah, yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how it used to be. And I very much,
Forgive
yeah,
me interrupting you.
yeah, no, do.
I'm just doing my job as a host here.
Mm,
You mentioned Salem. I know what you're talking about, Salem, Massachusetts. But in
mm,
case one or two folks here may not know, that is a place in the United States, in the state of Massachusetts,
mm,
where they had I'm sure many people will know this. In case there's someone who doesn't, that's where they had the famous Salem witch trials.
mm.
Well, we're not going to go into it here, but you
That
should look
makes
it
me
up.
shudder.
Yeah, you should look it up as to what happened,
Yeah.
and all the terrible things that were done, by people. Sorry, do
In
continue. I
rather
just
bad, in
wanted
rather
to.
bad ways. But basically, they were just misunderstood. So people, it was a whole thing anyway. There's
Mm,
tons of stuff out there about it. But going back then and over there and everywhere, people would go to the wise woman or the wise man for problems, for issues, for medication, for midwifery. Like I say, all these different things, and they would give guidance.
mm,
And really, that's what I do. So Am I a witch? I know I've got the hat, but I believe really that I would rather be the wise woman. The good witch is just a branding thing,
Hmm.
because it's fun.
Yeah.
I
Well,
did get the sack. Well, I had to leave my last day job because of it.
oh, hmm,
Because
yeah.
that's a story.
When was your last day job? Not the time of Cromwell, surely, who was
Oh
another,
no, no. So
let's just call him a rotten rat,
no, but I made
whatever.
no, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, that was
he
a
went
witch hunt.
round
It turned
burning
into a
people.
witch
Yeah,
hunt.
yeah. But well, hence the phrase, I think, from
Yeah, yeah.
Cromwell's time in England. But well, again, everybody can look up the history, Cavaliers and Roundheads and all that stuff. For magicians, I mean, if you haven't got a copy, it's worth getting. Which was the discovery of witchcraft, written in Old English,
Mm,
discovery, by Reginald Scott.
mm.
And he wrote it, as many will know, as an expose, quite deliberately saying, no, look, hang on a minute, there's people here doing, magical
Magic trick.
effects.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
magical trickery, if you want. And
Mm,
Eva and I, interestingly enough, even earlier today, we had a very brief chat. And in that, I'd said something, and Eva's brought it up just now about herbs and potions and mixtures. And I didn't know this. I only discovered it about a few weeks ago,
mm.
that in Shakespeare's Macbeth, that wonderful scene that we all know, hubble, bubble, toil and trouble, eye of newt, and all that kind of stuff, that eye of newt was code words for the ingredients in a potion. And Eva
I
said
did
to me,
look it
yeah,
up,
and you
didn't
said,
I? I
oh, I
can't
must go
remember
and
now.
look it up.
Yeah.
So as far as I can remember, eye of newt was for honeysuckle, and something of bat was for another flower or herb.
Mustard seed, mustard
Mustard
seed.
seed, that was it, not honeysuckle. Well done,
Yeah.
thank you.
I have
I
nudist
stand
honey,
co-
a
uh,
coded word for honeysuckle, for making me do it now, for mustard seed.
mm,
Yeah.
yes,
Toe of frog
because-
is buttercups.
yes,
Yeah.
toad
So
frog.
all these things.
So these were codes, and I thought, wow, it's interesting. I'll have to remember that and work it
Mm,
into a script onto something somewhere
mm,
down the line that I do. So who knew? I didn't. But somebody mentioned it, and I saw it, and they put up a post, and I just brought it up with Eva, and I said, yeah, I wonder if we can bring that up today. And she said, yeah, we should. So she did. She talked about potions and things. So the wise women and men, I suppose. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Wow.
mm.
Wow. Look at that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Ooh. Mm.
Now, for all of us who do it, wouldn't that be fun to have that book for a book test?
I never thought about that.
Wouldn't that be fun for a book test, my
Yeah.
lord?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Open on any page.
Yeah.
Mugwort massage. Snakeskin dream. Ooh.
Oh,
All
that's
sorts in here. There's a spell for everything in here.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Just brought that
Wonder-
to show you.
Wonderful. Yeah. But anyway, so there was all these things that obviously Billy the Bard knew a few things about a few things,
Mm,
which is why he used those coded expressions for the actual brew is the right word that they were brewing for
mm,
for for Macbeth. Also, what's this got to do with anything, Anthony? I don't know, but I'll bring it up anyway.
mm.
Why is Macbeth always referred to as the cursed play?
Right.
Why are you not supposed? We're not supposed to whistle backstage anyway. But there's a
Mm,
couple of other traditions when you're doing Macbeth. I mean, Eamon is also, apart from a magician, a thespian and does plays, etc., up in Scotland. Um, it, this play has so many things attached to it. I've never gone into it deeply. Not my favorite play. I mean, I like it. I've seen it. I've seen, the great late at the time was Sir Lawrence. Now, when he passed, was Lord Olivier, Laurence Olivier, do it, and he did Hamlet as well. And Orson Welles. I urge you to, if ever you can, watch Orson Welles' Macbeth. Well worth it as a performer.
mm,
A lot of Orson's work, especially as Macbeth and in Cagliostro, It's a movie. You can look it up. Who was a great fake and a con man, a grifter, basically. A lot of his work, in fact, has influenced my performing character of Anthony Darkstone. Not this guy sitting here, but the one doing this thing. So yeah, there's a lot to be gleaned from that, and can it trip over into the art that we perform just basically as magic? And the answer is yes. Well, Eva does that. I mean, you actually perform magic act. You're, as I said earlier, a member of the inner magic circle with a gold star. And for those who may not know, at any given point in time, there are only 300 of those. Any given point in time. You cannot earn it. It's awarded personally by the president at the time of the magic circle. So, just looking at even one context is fine and necessary. But what I'm trying to do is to kind of lead into where she uses what we've been talking about into the magic act, or going to the Port Theatre, exactly, Port Theatre in Baltimore. Now, Tommy, I know, is a great exponent of this, and he's got yet another effect out involving skulls and things. Why not as magic? How do you make that kind of?
Well, it's a funny one, isn't it? Everybody says don't mix the two, because I do both.
Yes,
but I think it was Scott that said it actually, but with Google nowadays, people are going to look you up anyway, or potentially they are. So
yes,
no point trying to hide it. It's one of those paint it black things. You may as well say it up front. And I've just done 2 shows. It's my new show. I do grieve in a very special and unusual way. So yeah, let's put on a show. Let's do some shows. So yeah, I'm a bit strange to say the least. But anyway,
well, thank goodness for that.
well, thank goodness.
Welcome to the Strange and Weird People Club. Thank you.
I am. I basically made the conscious decision to choose happiness, which isn't always an easy path. It's a choice. You get up in the morning and you can choose to be happy.
Yes.
That doesn't mean it's easy, but it's a choice that you make, and it's a choice I've made. So I decided to put on some shows, and they'd been on the back burner for some while, and the title of it is Eva May, The Spirits Make Me Do It.
I love that catchphrase.
Because they do. It's not my fault. It's never my fault. Spirits made me do it. So it's a funny thing, because I've just done 2, and it changed, as shows do. They change quite dramatically between from when you first do one, and even between this was only last week, I think. Yeah, last week. Between the first and second show, they changed really, really quite a lot anyway. And there isn't really much magic in it at all at the moment. It's interactive palmistry. So it's platform reading with palmistry. It's everybody involved. And I do read in quite a different way, and they get things. It's quite fun. It's fun. And then I did, what did I do? When you can't remember what you did, I talked more. And then I did Gypsy Thread, which worked really, really well. And in the beginning, I was going to learn lines for it, but I'm not very good at learning lines. I'm better at just talking. And if I'm doing that, it's because my black cat is down there vying for attention. So I haven't got like a nervous tick. I've got a black cat down there. So, and she's huge, or I'd pick her up. Too big. So I just spoke from the heart when I did it anyway. So I did Gypsy Thread, and then maybe a glass breaks, and maybe some blocks fall. But when I do that, I'm explaining about I grew up as a very weird child. And in fact, I've got tarot. I've got tarot for toddlers, and I've got a Ouija board for children and things like that. So it's a funny part of the show. And then I've got a voodoo teddy that I made. as you do.
Well, this is all our origins, isn't it?
Mm.
It
What voodoo
came.
Teddy? Just
Well, no, the shaman, the medicine person, yes, the sorcerer, if you like. I mean, I love sorcery. I mean, I have a character that I use as a sorcerer. I won't get into all of that now. You want to talk about you, but I use that as a character. It's a conscious business decision because I can say to somebody, "Yeah, well, you're paying for my flight and hotel rooms and giving me a fee, rather than book somebody else. I'll do the other character as well, and you save money." And they're going to go, "Oh, okay, it's a good business decision. Turn up as a
Mm.
different character at a different part in the show, or whatever." So that's something to consider. And the character is nothing like Darkstone. It doesn't even talk like Darkstone. He talks completely.
Wow.
So what you're saying for your shows is you bring this element of the wise woman slash witch into parts of your performance of a grass breaking or
Wow.
wow.
Didn't turn out like that. No,
Oh,
it was
okay.
going to. Here's what
Mm.
was strange, is that's exactly what I intended to do.
Ah, right.
And I wasn't comfortable.
Mm.
And I wasn't comfortable learning the lines. And I wasn't comfortable just with the whole theatrical
Mm.
bit like that. And so again, I'm quite good at waking up in the morning and making quite big, big important decisions about myself. And I should have been learning lines, and instead of which I went out for the day. This is the Sunday before the shows.
Mm.
And I suddenly thought, what's the matter with me that I can't do this? What is wrong? I had all this theatrical stuff going on
Mm.
and all this, all planned, but there was something,
Ah,
I
right.
wasn't happy. And I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to do any of that, which was a
Mm.
bit mad days before a show when you've sold tickets. I thought, I'm going to be unapologetically myself,
Interesting.
because you can't learn lines to somebody else's life.
Mm. Mm.
And the more we try and learn lines and be what other people expect us to be,
Mm.
it doesn't sit right. And that's what I was doing. I was listening to other people. I was doing what they expected the good witch
Yes.
or Eva May to do in a performance situation. And then I thought, no, I'm just gonna be me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on as me, which for me actually was quite uncomfortable. I may come across as I know I can talk a lot, but I'm not very good at talking about myself
Right.
um, so much. I'm quite guarded. But I did talk about me. It was very odd. On a more personal level. And
Yes.
people they seemed to like it.
Oh,
They
well.
did, they did seem to like it. And in fact, I was doing palmistry, and I get questions. I said any questions, and I usually get questions about the palmistry. That was
Mm-hmm.
palmistry. But instead of which, people started asking me questions like you are now, more about,
Yes.
where I come from, what I'm doing, what it's all about. So it turned into quite a different evening than I expected, to be honest.
Mm.
Mm.
Well,
Do a human pendulum. That was fun. Human pendulum,
pendulums indeed.
but with a human.
You're human, of course. Wow,
Human
how
pendulum,
wonderful
using
is
the
that?
human, channeling through the person
Person.
to get the answers to people's questions.
That sounds fascinating. We'll have to talk about that in some
Yeah.
detail at
Mm,
another time.
mm,
Oh, you mentioned dear Eugene, of course, as far as I'm concerned, and many of you who know me or close to me will know that he was a dear friend and a mentor. And in fact, if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't even be an Anthony Darkstone. Imagine sitting there and doing the gypsy thread. And I talked to him about this. And he said, I said, what a wonderful genius idea to have the candle. And I can't do it, but I'll try. Strokes his beard and he says, well, I found I couldn't break this thread, and that was the only way. But the candle gave it the theatre. And then, of course, the entire script is from the Bhagavad Gita, which is the ancient Sanskrit sacred writings. Um, with Vishnu, the gods, and Krishna, and only he could do it. And then he had a lot of people didn't know this, but he actually had a more funny script to it. And one of the people who used that slightly funny script was dear Jeff's wife, Abigail, who is also very esoteric, inverted commas, spiritual person. In fact, she's more a friend of mine than Jeff is. He was a nice guy, like, been in his house and all that stuff. But Abby and I click more because of that esoteric stroke spiritual connection. And she does that rarely whenever she performs, which is very rare, but she does that. But it's the sort of second version of Eugene Berger, with the exception of one person here. Everybody knows, who that is and what he did for magic and for me and others, etc. Now, let's talk a bit about your location. Wonderful Wiltshire. Everything from Stonehenge, as you said, to crop circles. Now, you're a frequent visitor to Stonehenge, and one of the main reasons you go to Stonehenge is to marry people.
This is nearly correct. It's nearly correct. StonehengeWeddings.com. Now, in this country, we've got some slightly different wedding laws. So in order for a place to be licensed for somebody to legally be married, it has to have a roof on it.
Right.
They are looking at making some changes. Now, quite obviously, Stonehenge has no roof and no likelihood of ever having one, or have had one, I don't think. So I basically am what is known over here as I'm a celebrant. So I do the ceremonies. So it's the same as you go to the what's it office and you sign the paperwork, don't you?
Registry office.
Well, over here it's the registry office. In the States, it's called something else, isn't it?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. Yeah.
Anyway,
somebody will tell us later. Someone will tell us later.
Yeah. So basically, I perform the ceremonies. I wear a cloak, and I'm not wearing this, although somebody has requested the hat for one next year. But so we go in at sunrise usually, or sunset when it's closed to the public, and in the inner circle we hold ceremony and do it's called a hand fasting, where most people are aware of what that is now.
Yes.
So we do a hand fasting ceremony within the stone circle. I perform them there, and there's actually another stone circle very close to here called Avebury, which doesn't get quite the same publicity as Stonehenge, because it's Stonehenge is, it's smart to look at, isn't it?
Yeah.
Avebury is actually the largest stone circle in the world. It's 20 minutes from here, from where I am, 20, 30, yeah. And it's huge. You can see it from space. And it's 3 stone circles, one inside another, And actually, it's got a village in the middle of it with a thatched pub. And at Avebury, you don't have to pay to get in. So it's very, very popular for ceremonies. And also you can touch the stones. I mean, there's no way they could fence it off, because it's huge, and it's actually 2,000 years older than Stonehenge.
Wow.
Yes.
I've never been. I've been to Stonehenge, and as you mentioned earlier on, to the Tor and to Glastonbury, and drunk out of the Magdalen Well and all that kind of cool stuff. But I had no idea. I mean, I knew about Avebury, but I didn't know that there was a pub there. Next time I get round
Next
there,
time you come, I'll take you there.
Thank you. Yeah,
come on one of my retreats.
Yes, we'll have to drink.
We'll visit
We'll
these
have to drink
places.
cider. Yeah, we'll have to drink cider as well. Yeah.
But it's got so it's got a village in the middle, and then it's got these stones, but it's got something else really special there. I mean, I love Stonehenge, don't get me wrong. Stonehenge is, the energy there is it's like time has stood still. It's very strange, the energy. It's powerful, my God. But Avebury has got a different feel to it completely. The stones give off a different energy, but as well, it has a wishing tree.
Nice.
Now, if it's actually an ancient beech. It's 4 ancient beech trees, and they're all joined, and the roots are all exposed. It's huge. And it is actually the tree that Tolkien used to sit under to write. And it's the tree that gave him the inspiration for the Ents, for the talking trees.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big fat wow. And so what I do if I'm doing ceremonies at Avebury is we do a hand fasting, and by the stones, or by a stone, we pick a stone because they're rather big. And then we walk, it's not a big walk, but we walk to the wishing tree, and we stand under there and do a dreams and wishes ceremony.
Yeah. We really should get this retreat together at some stage next year. Yeah.
I'm on it.
Yeah. Well, whatever help you need,
Thank you,
told you
thank you,
before. You're welcome.
thank you.
Yeah.
It would be yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It has to be done, doesn't it?
We should,
It would be very rude not to, I think.
well, indeed. Talk to us if you can. Well, of course you can. I was going to say if you can. Well, of course you
Don't
can.
know yet.
Well, I'll tell you what it is.
Mm.
It's fascinated me. I know. I love all this kind of stuff. From the the Nazca lines in Peru, and
Mm.
all the crop circles where you are. How many are there? I mean, for
Oh,
God's sake, I
there's
can't remember.
so
There's
many
tons of them.
circles.
I wouldn't be wrong by saying at least 100. Where did they come from?
Crop
How did they
circles.
exist? Who made them? I don't know.
Well, we
Can
don't know.
you
Some of
can you
them,
talk about them at all or not?
well, yeah, I can. I mean, some of them are very obviously man-made.
Hmm.
I might know the people
Mm-hmm.
that may be involved. That's
Hmm.
all I can say with that. But some of them have no explanation, and you can
Hmm.
sort of tell the difference when you look at them. So
Tell me, but did they give off a kind of energy of their own, much like Stonehenge and other sites around the world? Do
yeah,
they do
they
they
give
do
off
that?
a lot of different energies, and that's where you can tell the difference, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, there's the crop circles. And then as well, one of my other favorite places, and they're all in the same area, which is right by Avebury Stone Circle. A lot of them. There's some a
Mm-hmm.
bit further field,
Mm-hmm.
haha. But there's also Silbury Hill. Do you know about that?
I don't know.
It's by Avebury Stone Circle. You can see it, and you should Google it. It's actually as large. It's a large ancient man-made hill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at pictures of it, it's amazing. And it's as big as the pyramids,
Oh, wow.
and nobody knows why it's there. Now, they've gone in, excavated it. It's not a burial mound, because there's a lot of those around here as well, lots of burial mounds. There's one you can walk inside, even a long barrow. And which obviously I have.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody knows why Silbury Hill is there. Now, here's the thing. If I stand near that hill, it gives off energy that will knock me over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I get a buzz all over my whole body, and I'm like this. That hill is something else, and nobody knows why it's there. And I'm drawn to that hill.
Hmm.
I think it's a portal.
From everything you've just said, and its reaction to you or your reaction to it
Both.
could be both. Yeah, indeed. It could well be a
Mm.
portal to what? I don't know. Yeah, anyone?
A portal to your own self-discovery.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be a portal to, I don't know, some other dimension. I mean,
Mm,
every day we're discovering what the ancients knew, but now
mm,
science is providing us with proof. Because back in the day, we would kind of go, yeah, right, okay. But now science is telling us stuff that, well, maybe the ancients knew this. And I'm talking about ancients. I'm going back to the Sumerians, the Babylonians, and all that kind of thing. Ancient Egypt, I mean, way before Cleopatra and everything. So it people wouldn't associate all of that with England. Stonehenge, everybody goes, yay, I know that. Probably
Yeah.
been there. But Avery and this other place called Silbury.
Silbury,
Silbury.
yeah,
Okay, got it.
Silbury, Silbury Hill.
Silbury
I
Hill.
think it's older than Stonehenge. And there's lots of there's crop circles around in the fields around these places.
Yeah, but as you say, why that area? What is it? What's attracting them? I have no idea, and I suspect quite a few people don't. There are theories.
I mean, they're in other places as well, but there's
Yes.
definitely a high proportion of them.
Yeah, as you say,
in that
another place
area.
I mentioned earlier, the NASCAR lines. I mean, I've seen that from a couple of friends had a plane, and we kind of went over it,
I'd love to, yeah.
and you look at it, and you're kind of, well, nah, somebody made that. Well, yeah, they did, but who was the somebody, back in those times? And in those times,
How
they
did they?
they
Yeah.
couldn't
How did
fly
they?
up there and look at it like we were,
Mm,
looking down. And now, of course, you can Google it. There's plenty of places you could look at the crop circles, for want of a better word, or other things. What do they mean? What do they symbolize? Fascinated me, and I know lots of other people, yourself included, obviously. But this is remarkable what you were saying about how Silbury Hill affects you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I go sometimes to just stand near it. You can't go up it because it's dangerous now. The top of it, it would fall in. Where they excavated it, it did it years and years ago, probably in the 60s. I don't know. It didn't do it much good. So you can just stand, well, and look at it. And it is just the strangest thing, that hill.
Well, there's an interesting place. You jogged my memory about something. I had a very good friend, still have, a very good friend up in Scotland whose mother was the curator at Rosslyn Chapel. And Rosslyn Chapel has always fascinated me. I went there twice, visited, and he took me around, etc., etc. Well, his mother wasn't the curator then; she'd gone on something else. And he said we lived in the cottage, obviously. When his mother was the curator, it came with the job, the cottage next to it. And he said there was one part I couldn't go, and that was like downstairs. And I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "No, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. It was like something was literally blocked. I couldn't walk into it." I said, "Well, I'll go and have a look." So I did. And I walked down. I had a look. It was just a kind of, 10 by 15 type stone room. And yeah, I didn't feel anything. I came back up, and he said, "No, I'll never go down there." He said, "I've never been. Even as a child, I wouldn't go there again." And then we went to Rosslyn Woods, which is near, but not next door. And we went to a really nice and everything else. And I had my brother with me, and there was good reason why he's there, because he belongs to an organization that linked to Templars and things, shall we say. But anyway, he went there, and I crossed this bridge, and I couldn't go any further.
Wow.
Like you were saying, it's just, that was it. I said, "Well, I can't go with you, Mark. I can't." And my brother and his wife said, "Yeah, we're going to have a look." And apparently that place where Mark took them, which is part of, it's called Rosslyn Woods, you can't hear a thing. Nothing. Not even birds chirping.
Wow.
So I managed to muster up enough courage and walk to the, it was a small wooden bridge, just walked to the end of it. And I kind of, well, it's all gone very quiet. But I couldn't go any further. And then I walked back, and then you can hear, tweeting birds and all the rest of it in the other parts of the woods. So it's fascinating to me, and I hope to everyone listening, that this hill has an effect on your personal energy.
Yeah. It's a good effect. It's good. It
Oh,
feels
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's a positive thing. And in fact, I get answers there. If I want the answer to something, I go and stand near the hill. And there's something that whether I'm channeling when I'm there, I don't know. But if I stand near that hill even for 20 minutes,
Mm.
I get the answers that I want,
Yes.
or I get the answers I need, not necessarily the
Yes.
ones I want.
What you want, yeah. Well,
Mm,
this is good. Well, I'm looking at the clock here,
mm,
and to be fair to you
mm.
and to everybody else, I think we've now come to the time where we will go into what I call, it's an old Vegas term, I think, meet and greet, where everybody puts their mics on and
But what
chats
if
to
they
you.
don't ask me anything? What if they don't want to know anything?
Well, that's all right. It's their loss. That's all I can say.
Make
No,
something up, people, or I
they're
feel
all good
stupid.
friends. Yeah, we'll make something up. Yeah, we've got a book
Yeah.
and look it up and go, did you know about that and that and that? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, they may not necessarily want to ask actually, because they may just want to converse with you about something.
Mm.
Or not necessarily even ask a question. That's
Okay.
why I call it meet and greet, because you
Oh,
can
okay.
meet and you can greet the person.
Mm.
If for whatever reason somebody thinks, oh, well, no, I don't want to do that, I'm a bit shy, that's fine. There's no problem. Just put it in the chat and I'll read it out to Eva.
Mm.
I can't be fairer than that. So all I would ask you to do is that I will kind of like go to gallery in a minute. If you go down at the bottom of your screen, it says reaction button and it's got a raise hand. If you do that, I can see it clearly. If you do that, I may not be able to see you. Seriously. Yeah, if you do that, you'll probably get a free reading as well. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, Kaya's here. Okay, let's go to Kaya.
Hi, Eva. I just wanted to chime in because I've been to these places you talk about.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and it was really, really something when you talked about the wishing tree. And I remember standing there and hugging those trees and staying there and just feeling this
There's
the
something
magic.
just
Yeah,
it is actually a magical wishing tree.
I was not aware that it was a wishing tree, but I
Mm,
was drawn to them
mm,
very, very strongly. And I was
mm,
with my son. It was in 2012, actually,
mm,
July 2012. And I had a friend who lived nearby. I went to Avebury to do
mm.
the whole circle, just Stonehenge. He never wanted to take us there. He said, "Oh no, it's too touristic now. You gotta pay, blah, blah, blah." Never went. We passed by. There was no crop circles, but I absolutely adore these places. It,
Mm.
it it rings. I don't know. It's
There's something, isn't there? There's
yeah,
something special.
and it speaks to my soul deeper than words, deeper than whatever the mind can even conceive. That's what
Uh,
I would like to say. Yeah,
Come back.
yeah. Oh, I would love that.
Where
I
are
would
you?
love that. I mean, in France, on the border of Switzerland, close to
Okay.
Geneva.
Okay. Lovely.
Yeah. So that was just a little chime in.
No, thank you. No, I'm
Others,
pleased to feel the same, and it's not just me, you know. So thank you for telling me. Thank you.
yeah, of course. Thank you.
I want to say hello, talking to you from the Villages, Florida, the largest retirement community maybe in the world.
I love
But
Florida.
good. Well, you have to stop by and visit when you're here.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed your conversation. And one of the things which I didn't know was when you said that the lines on the palm
Mm-hmm.
change
Mm-hmm.
during your life.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard that.
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
Hmm. But what's interesting is, in my experience, I can understand, say, people who passed away communicating with me directly,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had a couple of different experiences, but the thing about like a medium, they're going to tell me what the person said and all that. Frankly, I'm not, so sure about that. But one of the people that who I think communicated to me after he passed away, which is why
Mm-hmm.
the palm thing is interesting. He was actually an Indian Swami, had mentioned that there was something in the palm that actually showed the people that were affiliated with him in different ways all through
Interesting.
time,
Mm.
which I had never heard that. So it was interesting. But I really, I was interested in what you had to say, and especially that the palm can change. We
It
know,
does,
I
yeah.
always thought it was just like fingerprints. So
No.
this whole thing with the reading of the lifelines and all that, that was basically, not going to change. So that was pretty interesting for me.
Well, the lines, yeah, the lines. So you'd have your lifeline. So your basic bigger lines. I usually have a hand I can show on a Zoom. The bigger lines will stay pretty well the same. You're not born with all those lines. You're born
Hmm.
with some lines, and then more lines come and go. So, for example, I'll give you a good example. If you've got lines going down here, can you see where I'm pointing? Down on your
Yeah,
fingers,
who are you pointing? Yeah.
particularly with
Okay.
the shows on. Lines going down here.
Right.
Who People with lines going down, that's poor sleep.
Okay.
That's
So
what? Could you say again, please?
it's poor quality sleep. You get those lines come in.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they just go, that's vertical, isn't it? Vertical
Yep.
lines just on your fingers there, going down. And when your sleep improves, those go.
Hmm.
Well, interesting. You said that. You jogged my memory on something. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the book called Supernature by Dr. Lyle Watson. If you're not, I would urge you to get it, because in the oh God, I must have read it. When Noah built the ark back in my young days. In it, he cited a study that was made in Japan in hospitals. Nowadays, yes, they put little tags on people's wrists to say who they are and all that kind of thing. But in those days, apparently, they would take a palm print of
Oh,
people. And someone had gone to the trouble at a university in Japan to study all the palm prints to see if there was a common factor in the
you
palm
can
print.
tell everything from someone's hand. It's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
learning another language. It's very different to tea leaf reading, which is a channeling thing and with messages.
Hmm.
Whereas palmistry is more of a practical. You can
Yeah.
see what's likely to happen, but then you are in control of your own destiny. Is that
Yes.
fingerprints are actually, I find them more interesting than the other lines. They're all interesting. I'm obsessive with it.
How about feet, since they take feet prints
Oh yeah,
for
I mean it's the
babies?
same thing. I don't
Yeah.
do that, but it's the same. It's you can read somebody's feet prints the same as the bumps on the head and all that. So, I mean, basically you can. Well, I do palmistry. That's complicated enough, to be honest,
Mhm.
and very different, like I say, to the tea leaf reading.
Hello, Paul.
Thank you, John. Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh,
thanks,
Thank
Paul,
you.
John.
what do you want?
Thanks.
What do you want, Paul?
Hello. Hey,
Hello. Haven't seen you for ages. What are you doing here? Just
yeah,
get in the car and come here, for goodness sake.
should do, shouldn't I?
Mm,
Yeah, I might do next year when I've got myself a bit more settled. It's as you know, I've been nomadic over the last
mm,
several years, so now where I'm living in a very, very spiritual place, I hasten to add,
mm.
which is Chilworth in Surrey. It's got a lot of history.
Oh, cool.
There's a monastery round the corner from where I live, which I've gone and visited.
Cool.
Loads and loads of history and sort of strange stuff going on here. And of
Love
course,
it.
as Anthony knows, this is all right up my street because I'm
Mm.
into Tai Chi and Taoist Buddhism stuff. And we know the ancients know all this stuff anyway. So what you're talking, it's very interesting because my sleep is dreadful, and I've definitely got those lines on my fingers. But we can tell a heck of a lot, can't we? Look at science now. They can tell a lot from the eyes just by glaucoma and looking into the eyes. I think we've already known all this stuff from thousands of years back.
Do you know what, Paul? I've just remembered something. Going way back, we were where on earth were we? It wasn't Blackpool. We were at a convention and we were in the bar.
It wasn't Eastbourne, was it?
Eastbourne. You're right. I think it was Eastbourne. Way
Well,
back.
that'll be one of the IBMs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, IBM Eastbourne. And there was Tony Antonio there as well. Joe Hoey. There were not many of us. We were the late ones, and we got into a very deep conversation about spiritual stuff. I'm sure you were there.
Yeah, There might have been. It
Yeah,
rings
and that
bells.
was very early on before I had a load of other stuff kicking off around me, should we say. But
Well,
it was way back we had that
way
conversation.
back. Oh, thanks for remember that. I've been wanting to try and get to Glasgow because I've been for the music. Can't get tickets there, but I've been to Glastonbury before.
Going tomorrow, going tomorrow. I'm going on a
Oh,
dragon
really?
hunt tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
There's a dragon hunt in Glastonbury.
Oh, come on, let me ask on behalf of everybody else.
Mm.
What is a dragon hunt?
Well,
I'm sure everybody
I've
wants to
never
know.
been to the dragon. Glastonbury is, I've never been to the music festival, but it's a
No,
very,
me neither. No.
it's a very, that's not my thing so much, but it's a
No.
very, it's only a small town, but it's got ley lines running through it from all directions.
Mm.
It's got the Chalice Well.
Yeah.
It's got well, it's got the tour. It's got everything spiritual all in one small condensed place, basically. It's a bit like Sedona on steroids, I would think. Yes.
Yes, good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've not been there, but people when they come, they go, "Oh my God," you know.
Mm.
And there's everything there. And tomorrow there's a dragon hunt, and it's because of the time of year and the change of seasons, and there's the summer dragon, and then the autumn dragon and the winter dragon, and they fight to see who's going to win, and there's this whole thing. But I'll take pictures.
Oh yes, please.
I couldn't resist a dragon hunt in Glastonbury, you know.
Yeah, please do.
What's
Take
not
lots of
to like?
pictures.
Wait.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were talking about the discovery of witchcraft.
Ah,
Oh
there we
yeah,
are.
yeah.
It's my
Awesome.
copy of it, which is a really beautiful hardback copy. And I
From-
bought that from Repro. Do you remember Repro Magic?
Yes.
Yeah, I bought that from Repro Magic back in the day.
Good grief.
And that was only 28 quid then. But ironically, I just looked it up and you can actually get it from Amazon as a paperback now.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So
Oh
look at
dear.
that.
Can't see it too clearly, Paul. What's it?
No.
Oh, £20 by the looks of it.
I
Yeah,
bought
is it?
one from
No,
Richard Kaufman,
no,
and it was
no.
much more than that.
The thing is, I went to Avebury as well before I knew what it was, because I went to Stonehenge. I went to Stonehenge way back in the day when I was a dirty rotten biker with all my mates.
Goodbye, Mr. Wizard.
It was wonderful seeing you as always.
Sorry, Paul. I
Sorry,
could just
sorry,
see he was
Paul.
trying
Go
to
ahead.
go. Yes.
No problem. Yeah, I know
Sorry,
it's
go
good.
ahead.
I went back. I went to Glastonbury. I went to Stonehenge way back in the day when I was a dirty rotten biker with all my mates, and back then it was where they would only just started doing the archaeology there. That shows me how old I am. And we could actually walk around the stone then. You know, it was easy to do. But there's some really crazy stories about that, because when you know all this anyway, don't you? When Stonehenge was kind of resurrected, it was actually sold to the MOD, and it was used as an area, as a training ground. So in the middle of the night, apparently a load of the guys got a military jeep and they stuck it on one of the top of the keystones.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Oh my God.
Didn't you know that? Oh, you look it up. It's so crazy.
No.
The people driving along, they find this jeep
Times
stuck
have
on top of
changed now. It's
but isn't it funny when you look at those stones close up, you will actually see graffiti going back
yes.
hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Anyway, good to see you. Great.
You too.
I hand you back to Anthony.
Well, thank you, Paul. We've got Eamon. Hello, Eamon.
Oh, hi there. It's nice to see you. I've always been interested in even spiritualism and stuff going back to when I was a teenager, and I've never seen anything or experienced anything that I'm aware of, but I do get a lot of dreams going back to when I was a teenager, and the dreams are quite heavy sometimes, and it's like people that have passed away that are talking to me in the dream, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I mean, I don't know if would you call that a spiritual thing, or does everybody...
I can only go by my own experiences, and I seriously, with all the things that have happened to me, I firmly believe that time is fluid.
Yeah.
I certainly, and again, I'm not saying it in a showy offy way, I'm going from my own experience, that's all I can talk about. And I get a lot of very vivid dreams, but then sometimes I get things where I will actually be in a house, or I'll be in a place, and it's somebody I know, and I can pick up the phone to them the next day and say, I saw this you know, I saw this house, I saw this carpet, I saw this mantelpiece with this vase on it, and that wall was orange or something. And it can have been this will make sense, I think. It quite often is a house that they used to live in when they were a child or something like that. So what I'm saying is you may well be having that experience and meeting these people, but in another fluid time situation, which is a lovely thing to do.
It's kind of strange because when I'm getting it the next day, I'm thinking, what was that all about? You know, it's always in a house
But you
where
can
I
still
would,
remember it, yes?
yeah, oh yeah.
Mm.
Sometimes I forget after so many days, but on
Yeah.
the morning when I wake up, and what was that? You know, and
Yeah.
it's usually in a place where I was brought up, or my parents' house, or something like that.
A little bit of time traveling there, maybe. I
I
certainly know exactly what you mean, and I do get that. Yes.
I wondered what it was because I get it quite a lot, but sometimes I don't. But when you do get it, you think, goodness, it's kind of, you know, there's always a mess in the room, and I'm always cleaning up the room or something like that.
That's good.
I don't know what that means, but
I think maybe next time it happens, if you're there with other people, try and ask them, think to them.
Yeah.
Think a question to them and see what happens. You may be surprised. You may just get an answer. Or it may come through in the morning.
Thanks very much.
It's interesting you said next time ask them, because we're getting into an area now where not just myself and Eva, but others have, and this has only started happening to me after I was about 65, almost 70 at the time, which was about 8 years ago, that I started having actual conversations with both my grandmothers. It wasn't audible.
No, it wouldn't be. It's in your mind's eye.
Exactly, yeah. But they were exactly as you and I are talking right now, and with them. It wasn't so much that I went out seeking something, it just sort of came about. Does that make sense?
Complete sense, yes. So yeah, I've had conversations, with all sorts of people. If you think, this got deep now for late at night, didn't it? Or early in the morning. If you think we're all energy, Paul understands energy. We all feel each other's energy.
Yes.
So if we're all energy, where does our energy go? It doesn't just go, it's energy. It can't just stop. So it's around us, or it's somewhere that we can't see. It's in a different plane beyond the veil, in front of the veil. It's just everywhere. We're all everywhere. We're all energy. So if we're then energy without skin and bone and a bunch of bad habits, then we can't communicate in the same way when we are that loose energy, we'll call it, or whatever, different form of energy. So a voice might not be an audible voice, but it's a voice in our, we only understand a little bit of our brain, don't we? And I'm going with my thoughts and what I've discovered, but we're communicating in a different way. Which is why I think it was John said to me he wasn't sure about mediums giving messages, but to be a medium, you have to be unbelievably sensitive. I mean, like ultra sensitive, which comes with its own issues, I can tell you. So a medium will be just sensitive to picking up these other energies. I mean, I'm not one that sits here and thinks, right, I'm going to channel into your mum or your dad or your whoever. I'll just pick up whoever happens to be around and see, and it might be somebody that somebody knows. So for all energy, that's what I'm saying. So yes, you quite possibly in your mind, in communicating in that different way, have had those conversations.
Personally, that's never been a big issue for me because, as many of you know, part of my DNA from my mother's side, Native American, and for us, speaking to ancestors is quite like a kind of normal thing, really. It's
Yeah,
not like hey, it's a
absolutely.
big deal.
Yeah.
It's something that we do
Yeah.
anyway. Within the movements of Tai Chi, you've got the Chi, and then Ki and Prana, if you want to kind of go even further back. So as you were saying, Eva, what is that energy? Where's it from? And in good Tai Chi, you can actually manifest, you can feel it. I mean, I've done this with what I would call ordinary people, and said, well, try this movement and then tell me what you feel. And they go, yeah, I can feel like there's something in my hand, like a ball. And I go, well, that's your energy. And for me personally, and I'm not going to go into details for obvious reasons, I've had warnings from my grandmothers.
I believe you. I get warning.
Yeah. I've had my son, when he was a lot younger, going, nah, really, Dad, nah, well, no, whatever. And that's fine. Now he's like 43, 20 years later kind of thing. He's kind of going, you know what, there's something to it. Because, my grandma, my mom, has had conversations with him.
And going back to the energy thing, it's what are we using now? How are we communicating if it's not by energy?
Exactly.
It's just different forms and different ways. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a very funny clip, if anybody ever wants to see it, of Paul and I in London. It was not something we planned. It was just something that happened. He went, let's do some pushing hands. The next thing you knew, there we are, not planned. There, temple dogs on either side. And, I'm doing my Steven Seagal stuff and he's, doing his thing. But if you look deeper into it, there was that energy, I think. And the mutual friend of ours who was videoing it on his phone actually said later, I felt something. I know you guys were just kind of partially fooling around, and there was passerbys kind of stopping and going, oh, what's going on, and so on. And well, that was the first time we met Paul. I gave a talk at Equity. I was invited to Equity. Some of you won't know it, but it's a bit like the Screen Actors Union in the US, and at their main building. Paul was there. It's just great, like we'd known each other for, since Noah built the ark kind of stuff, Yeah. So that energy thing, I think, is important. And I think if John would like to add something, I know he's a practitioner of Sensei Yoshiba's Aikido. And all of that, in fact, involves very much focused energy. It sounds weird. Forget all the movies you've seen. It sounds weird, like with one fingertip, you can actually turn somebody to fall on the floor.
So I think we're all one. I think we are all connected by this energy. And if we spend time, we can really feel each other's energy, can't we? I mean, if you walk into a room, when there's been an argument and all that sort of thing, you can feel this energy if you pay time. But I think there's some people you're more connected to than others. And, I've got certain people that I can feel, I'll jolt like that if they've tripped over and things like that. And they can be around the other side of the world. And it is that powerful, the whole energy thing.
So the energy idea is very interesting. As Anthony Pud talks, you do go like this, you can feel the energy in between your hands. And we've actually done things in a ballroom.
There you go.
Got close with someone, and they can be on the other side of the room and still feel the energy.
Yeah.
But one of the things, I got to go to outside Kansas City where this prayer movement started, Silent Unity, where people used to pray and do all these things. And I'm in this really old building where they were, and I'm walking around, and I walked into a room, and I actually felt dizzy.
Yeah.
And I just felt dizzy, and I found out that was the room where they used to sit at 10 o'clock every night and pray for people all over the world. And just by walking in the room, and not even knowing it, so it's not like I kind of thought I was going to feel energy here. It was just all of a sudden I was dizzy, and I'm like, why? And then later on, I found out what was going on.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
the idea of connecting with people and energy, when I was a teenager, I did Olympic weightlifting. So at like 12 years old for the Junior Olympics, I used to take the subway from the Bronx down into Manhattan, about 45-minute train ride
Hmm.
early in the morning by myself. And every time I got on that subway, there was a person sitting across from me who looked kind of like a smaller version of my uncle,
Mm.
who was already deceased. And he would all just sit there across from me and look at me and follow me down into the city, and I would do whatever I had to do. I never had any trouble. And then one day, 30 years later, maybe, sitting in my car, and for some reason I thought of that, and I looked across the street, and there in a car sitting at a stop sign was that person.
Oh, I get
But of
it.
course,
Yeah.
he didn't age. I obviously did, but it was like, oh, what's going on here? So it's interesting, like this idea can follow you, through your life.
There you go, James. Right.
Hello, James.
Anyway, I was just listening and I found it very interesting. I've already joined one organization and bought 2 books while we were on, all because of Anthony and his musings and you and your discussion of seances. So
Did you
don't
join
be
the Seance
surprised.
Society, did you?
I most certainly did.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
It take a little while for the certificate and pin to arrive because of the current situation. I used to send them in a tube, but that they seem to get the last one went. I was sending it to Sweden and it went via Thailand, and I had to send out another one. So I'll send yours in a flat envelope because I think that's the safest way and it's more likely to actually arrive. Yes.
Anyway, I was very much interested in it because of the fact that my great niece, her mother, her aunt had a baby that died of sleep related issues.
Mm.
And she was really sad. And my great niece walked in there and she couldn't have been more than 5 or 6. And she proceeds to tell her how she sees her there and how the baby's happy and everything else.
Wow. It's
But
fascinating, isn't it?
oh, it is. I've had an interest in it all my life, and it it's enjoyable to find other people who I can discuss it with that don't look at me strange.
That's really true. Yeah, we should do more. I think once like I say, it has been what you'd call a bit of a year or a bit of a 2 years, 8 or 9 months, with my husband's illness and then him passing earlier this year. So it's, I'm still sort of refinding myself, but I will do more with the Seance Society because I think we do all like to just have a bit of a chat about it, don't we? As well as the newsletters and planning some other things. I think it would be nice if we could chat more. I will be doing more. Like I say, I've just been regrouping to a degree in my own special way. I was going to sell all his seance props. We've been asked to do a lecture at Doomsday Convention. So, like I say, I do grieve in a very unusual way. And I think everybody really enjoyed it. It was quite amusing. And Roger did come through, but so yeah, I'm just revisiting it in my head now. So yeah, and since then I've always had an interest, obviously going back to being a child, really. I was a very strange child.
Well, Doomsday, I think Steve has mentioned it a couple of times, and you will know him, of course. Professor Todd Landman, aka the academic magician. He's one of our board members on AMI. He frequently shows up there. I've never been to one, but he tells me it's a kind of very small, intimate convention, more leaning towards things of an esoteric nature, shall we say, rather than whatever.
It's like your East Coast Spirit Sessions.
Yeah.
Would be which I've not been to yet. I'd like to go.
Yeah.
Where are you, James?
St. Louis, Missouri.
I have no idea where that is. I'm so sorry.
It's in the States.
Midley.
Oh,
Kind of
right
right in the middle.
In
If
the
you
middle,
if you take Texas and go up a bit,
up from
Yeah.
Texas. I know where Texas
yeah,
is.
everybody. Well, I know you do. Yeah. So if you go kind of like up a bit,
Yeah.
and then I'm looking at it this way, you go kind of up a bit, and it just kind of veer off to the west slightly. That's Missouri.
Where
Yeah.
are you, Rabina?
Sorry.
Where's Rabina?
Rabina. Oh, Rabina's in San Antonio, Texas,
Yes.
Oh,
which everybody
San
refers
Antonio,
to
yes.
as San Antonio. If ever you need to go to Texas, that's one place you got to visit.
I love Texas so much.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm part Texan in. Do you know Trixie Bond?
Yes.
absolutely. I'm going back years
Oh,
and years
she
and
and
years.
I are like sisters.
She's wonderful, yes.
When-
Except she always gets, she tried to, not on purpose. I always nearly die somehow when I'm with Trixie because something happens. She's, oh yeah. She,
Trixie and her dad Charlie as well.
I didn't know her dad
Now
was
you
Trixie, and
brought
I'm
her up. One of my
I didn't know
favorite
her
ladies.
dad either, yeah.
Yeah, something went wrong at a convention. I think it was an SAM convention. They were supposed to throw me a birthday lunch. I remember it well. It was my 60th birthday, and something went wrong. And what it was, very briefly, it's funny then, it's funny now. I thought, oh, where's everybody gone? I thought, well, okay, fine, I'll go sit down, and kind of like at the Adams Mark Hotel and get some lunch. And then somebody else came and said, can I sit with you? Yeah, sure, no problem. So we just start chatting. And then someone else came by and he said, there you are. And I said, yeah, here I am. And he said, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm having lunch. What? Duh. I don't know where anybody is. Everybody I know seems to have disappeared. And they said, yeah, they're all up in Maria's room. Maria, at the time, she's gone now, blessings for her memory, was the SAM president, the incoming SAM president. She'd thrown this whole thing for me with, margaritas and tortillas and the whole, fajitas and the whole thing. I can't, when, oh, she's really pissed with you. And I said, why is that? She says, because you didn't show up. I said, well, nobody friggin' told me. They didn't. Nobody mentioned it. They kept it so secret they forgot to tell me when it got started. And then that's it when it comes to Trixie, and we were talking about it. She said, you look down in the dumps. And I said, well, I am. I missed my great birthday lunch.
oh,
Maria's upset with me, and her husband's really furious because he went all the trouble to make this stuff. And she said, oh, it's no problem. You come back to Houston. I said, yeah, I am. So we went, I can't remember where, I was Dallas, that's right. And we came down to Houston. She said, well, I'll throw you a birthday party. And she did at her home. Well, she's moved now. And, Steve Farmer, dear Walter Blaney, Becky Blaney, his daughter, and I have to tell you, she made the best beef Wellington I've ever had in my life.
she's such a cook. She's phenomenal.
What's that you said?
Yeah.
Trixie Bond.
Trixie Bond.
Okay.
Trixie, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, she's
Well, Trixie, let me tell you, I'll just tell you a quick Trixie and Texas story. I was over with, Paul, we had Martin Cox with us. So I know. And Martin was sitting in the back seat of the car. Trixie had given us breakfast and she cooks. So she'd fed us well. Right, we better eat a lot because we're going out. Trixie's driving, I'm sitting in the front seat, and Martin's sitting in the back seat. She said, oh, Vietnamese pork rolls, you have to try them. She pulled in and bought these, we're like, just eaten. She said, you have to have them, you have to have them. Martin's eating one in the back and Trixie and I are chomping down on these. Now, a bit of chili squirted and hit her in the eye. We're on this, in Houston, how many lane freeway is it?
5.
10? 5?
5, yeah, 5.
Feels like 50.
Yeah.
50-way freeway, yes?
Yeah.
And a chili shot in her eye, and I'm in the passenger seat. Now, what do you do if chili shoots in your eye and you're in a 10, 15 lane freeway?
Cry and pull over.
No, not Trixie.
Trixie.
No, not Trixie. She screams. There's a bottle of water next to her. She lets go of the steering wheel and starts throwing water in her face and accelerates.
Does she tell you to take the steering wheel?
No, she didn't. She's screaming and throwing water in her face. I grab hold of the steering wheel like this. She's accelerating.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to steer around other cars while she's screaming and holding her face.
Oh, that would hurt. Hmm.
She is a bit mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, her husband's very kind of sedate, quiet guy. I don't know if you ever met, met them. And I remember when they had the house in Houston, she had, because I was doing this big thing in Dallas, a talk show with Walter Blaney, blah blah blah, for the SAM, or no, TAOM, for the TAOM, and something went wrong, and she said, "Not a problem, I'll come pick you up from the airport." And that's how wonderful she was.
I went onto your website as well.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, I think we'll call it a wrap, shall we?
I think so.
Other than saying a heartfelt thank you from me personally to you, thank you,
Well,
and on behalf, our pleasure, and on behalf of AMI, thank you very, very much, Eva. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Nice to talk to you.